Tyler, what's up, man? Are you excited about sports returning?
Yeah, man. It's one of those things. I miss sports. Sports is one of those things, regardless of whether it's professional sports, college sports, or just youth sports. I think it's just multi-level on so many things. It's just it's one of those things that helps provide something for youth to do, stay out of trouble and everything, but also provides entertainment once you get to a higher level of competition. Um, so for me, I grew up with sports, so I love sports, all sports, soccer, baseball, basketball, football. Don't watch basketball as much anymore since the Sonics left, but
Mm-hmm.
playoffs I usually watch. Um, I think it's just a little crazy right now with all of that. I found myself watching the Back to the Future Mariners game from 1998 the other day, just because it was on a rerun. Um, so it's kind of weird. I want sports to come back, but under safe protocols and whatnot. And I think kind of not to jump ahead of any questions, but us being in the stands is one thing as fans, but then with folks that are actually playing the sports, like a lot of these sports are going to be contact sports to where you're like right up on one another. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like Adam Silver with canceling the NBA season, Rudy Gobert got the virus. So
Yeah.
I know he was joking about it. He mocked it, and then he's the first player to get in the NBA. Karma, irony, whatever that may be. Um, but yeah, but then he's like, you know, you're around these people all the time too. So like, how would you safely do that? Because this is obviously an airborne pathogen, to where like when you're working out, you're huffing and puffing and just exerting a lot of air and everything too. So you're breathing a lot quicker, rapid, all of that stuff. So even when I go outside and run, like if there's someone on the sidewalk that's running, I veer out like super far out of the way, just so like I don't like not necessarily catch anything from them, but because I'm running and panting, I don't want to potentially throw something at that person either, just kind of protecting both people. Um, so sports coming back, I'm excited about. Just we don't know when it's going to come back. I know there's
Mm-hmm.
talks about this year and everything, um, kind of what these guys have mentioned already. But California, for instance, already said, last month, that no large event, sports, concert, anything would be held in the state of California until 2021.
Right.
So we know that sports will not be played in California or anything of that nature until at least 2021. So it's I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Like we don't want to rush it back just because of the virus. I
Mm-hmm.
miss it, but I don't think we should rush it back. Just because the thing that
Right.
pops into my head was like from 2015, when I think it was the Orioles and the Chicago White Sox,
Yeah.
when they
Oh
played
yeah.
in a completely empty stadium. Um, I'm drawing a blank on why they were doing that. It was the protest, right?
Can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact reason why they were playing in an empty stadium, but they played in an empty stadium, and even the players were like, it was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end of the day, it's a game, but you're also there playing the game and providing some sort of entertainment, and you also draw like that energy from crowds.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we did say like, oh, sports can come back but no crowds, it's just the energy that those players
Mm-hmm.
get at that point is like, are we playing for something still? Like, are
Right.
we practicing because this feels like a practice, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So
Just
I
like that.
know.
Yeah. Just like that soccer game I saw.
Yeah, I know, and I know a lot of like, I think it started in a German soccer stadium where they were saying that folks could buy like a cardboard cutout of themselves for like 20
Mm-hmm.
bucks, and
Mm-hmm.
then the money they paid would actually go to like a COVID relief fund. So it started in Germany, and I know like even in the Korean baseball league, they've started doing that too, where they actually just put people who have paid for these cardboard cutouts of themselves. They just tape or tie, or I don't know how they do it, zip ties maybe, but they put cardboard cutouts of people in the stands, so it looks like there's people there, which is, I think, is awesome and it's cool. But same feeling, not so much.
Yeah.
Right.
It reminds me of that. Did you hear about that? I think it was a Korean baseball league or something like that got in trouble for for blowing up dolls.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're like, let's actually print people that are real, not blow up dolls.
Not blow up dolls.
Yeah, and what I hear the most, Tyler, is and this goes back to you too, Gerald. You brought up a great point about The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary on ESPN. For me, I'm 3 episodes away before I finish, so no spoilers. But for me, though, I truly believe like it was probably one of the best documentaries, even if you don't care about basketball. I mean, it really brought like a feeling. Tyler, you mentioned about feelings and all that stuff. And so this segues into our next question. Basically, what is the importance of sports, and what is the importance of it returning so soon, potentially so soon, during these really strange and unknown times we had? And I think you and Tyler, I want to kind of start with you one more time, because I know sports was a big part of your life, especially as growing up as a kid. And then you saw it as a coach when you coach other kids as well, about kind of the importance of sports have on kids and their confidence, or kids and their discipline, and just their outlook on life. So starting with you, Tyler, what do you think is the importance of sports returning, maybe even sooner than what we may believe, on the impact it might have on everyone?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the biggest thing with sports for me, because I grew up in it and because I was a coach, is just the development of just younger students or athletes, especially in rural areas and urban areas and everything, which is kind of what I went through growing up. Like, a lot of people, either were involved in gangs or just like sketchy stuff, or they played sports. Sports oftentimes took the people from doing stupid things and put them and had them focus on other things. So I think for that, it's a huge development thing, not only just keeping them safe, but like you kind of mentioned too, is just building that confidence and letting them do that, but also like, learning in the process. There's discipline there and everything. You can't just get super heated, all of that stuff. Unless you're playing golf, you're playing a team sport. So you're building, camaraderie and just respect for other players. Not everyone's on the same level, but at that point you are learning from one another and how to better yourself and a team. So it's just like kind of like life lessons. It keeps you busy. You can kind of coach how you want. Again, kids, sponges, they soak up everything. So it's one of those things, you don't want to be too harsh on them as a coach. You want to be somewhat harsh, somewhat like constructive to the criticism that you give them. You have to remember that these are children. So some children get yelled at all the time at home, and you don't necessarily want to yell at them on the football field or the baseball field or whatever. That's probably their little escape too, But I would say the importance of youth sports in general is just to get kids out and have them active, not have them. I say this because I did both, but not have them like just rot on a phone or an iPad or video games. Don't get me wrong, I played video games like a ton growing up, but I also played sports. So it was the fine balance between the two. But you don't want them to just sit around and do nothing and not be active and all of that. And then two, just being around other people too when you're young, I don't know, that one's a little challenging just depending on how you look at it. But I think building the relationship and bonds with people over sports as you go through them can help one another, like just gain that appreciation for other people and then for the sport itself. So it doesn't matter what sport it is. And that goes all the way up until college and then the professional sports and everything too. The importance there is just like, it's a little bit of a getaway. You know what I'm saying? So like after you've played sports and everything and you've reached the pinnacle of your career, whatever that may be, whether that was middle school or football or high school football, or you went to college and played college ball, or you made it to, professionals, like even at the professional level, they enjoy watching sports, and they still learn. There's always something to learn in the game, or,
Right.
But I think it's important to a lot of people, not only because it's a sense of entertainment, but it's a chance to build camaraderie amongst people that have common interests and common, just knowledge of the sport as well. And that's the thing. It's like you could have two completely different people, just like this person grew up this way and this person grew up that way, but you bring them together, watch like the Seahawks or something, and you're like, I respect this man, kind of thing. It's just like,
right.
It's just a common, common thing that they just, you love and you can talk about, and you just have that relationship with one another. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I miss with sports, is that not just watching for entertainment purposes, but like for the sense of like, I can talk to somebody about this, like we're all watching the Seahawks or something, or the Mariners, and we have a group message, and we just say like, what the heck was he thinking, kind of, just like we can get upset, we can do whatever, but it's just one of those things, just like the relationship, not only with the sport, but like with the other people that are watching
right.
as well.
Thanks, man.